Hello, hello, hello. Hello, you lovely, beautiful people. See if I can turn the audio on. Let me know if it's too loud or if it's too quiet. I think it's okay, right? Let me. 1, 2, testing audio 1, 2. Let me know if it's too loud. And we can see if we can, regulate it a little bit better. How you lot doing? You right? I'm pretty in the dark. 1 sec. There we go. Haha. How's everyone doing? Hey chat, how you doing chat? 1 sec, let me put my monitor on the other one so I can see the chat. There we go. Perfect. I can see the chat here. There we go. So much better. Okay. Perfect. Hello mate. What have you guys been up to? Tell me about your day, your week. Who's on holiday? Who's going on holiday soon? What are the plan, guys? Fun time. I like the name. I got this request from Patreon, from someone on Patreon. They want to stay a bit anonymous. They feel embarrassed. And the query or the suggestion was to kind of create these arcs where the lengths of those arcs would be random. So it won't be like copy and paste, it would just be randomly generated. Opay Associates, how you doing, mate? You good? Jet to holiday. Yeah. Slumber party. Jesus, someone's having a rough one. A good one. Yeah, so as I was kind of saying, someone was I've been suggested to do something along these lines. Full caramba. Carumba. Nice. You're always busy, mate. You gotta stop. You gotta get some holiday days in, Either way, we should probably have a look at some other designs just to see if anything else pops up of our interest. This sort of thing I love, but I think it's fairly easy to do, perhaps. Man, I used to have like a certain obsession for staircases, designing staircases. Whoa, techno's heavy. Kangaroo physics. Yeah, kangaroo is like one of those things where you can really go into it, or you can kind of touch it on the surface. You live on the beach. That's you're living our dream life, mate. That's so cool. Well, whenever I go to... You're in the States, right? If I ever go to the States, I'll hit you up. Man's living. He's living our lives, man, for us. Yeah, we have it rough. I can't complain. I have the beach like 10 minutes away walking, so it's alright. But that's just Spain. Not nearly as nice. Anyway, guys, if you have any suggestions, let me know. We can share it on screen and perhaps, break it down, or at least see if it's, something we could explore today. As I said, we'll probably just end up doing something along these lines. Where are you? I think I lost it. Along this. Yeah, I think this is kind of where I feel like the stream should go today. I have an idea on how to do it. I'm just not sure about one certain part in the script, which we will kind of work out. Let me know if this is, something that seems interesting to do, where these arcs vary in shape. And I was thinking perhaps we could even approach following the logic where these arcs are kind of different sizes. We can do like some mixing, random split list where we have arcs and then just solids, and then see, I don't know, kind of generate something there. I'm still not sure what direction to take with it, to be quite frank, but we'll resolve it, I guess. Let me see if I can fix. There we go. Yeah. So anyway, if you have any ideas, let me know, and we can open it up on screen. Yeah, just let me know. Let me see if I can rearrange my chat. So I'm going to need, there you go, much better. Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking of using like a square base for this. Is the website? There we go. Yeah, so you see this front where you have different sizes. Here there aren't that many different sizes, but the idea is to generate them. So one thing, like there's going to be a few problems when doing the script that I could already feel like it's going to be interesting to resolve. Some of them I've kind of premeditated a little bit just because I just didn't know how to do it, so I've been kind of working my way through it mentally and breaking it down into steps. So sorry, I think we should just get into it, I guess. So I'm going to work with a square base. So we're gonna take like a rectangular or a square, square floor plan, let's say. So bifocals, I'm gonna use square. No, it's not square. We should probably use rectangles to be a little bit more flexible. The rectangle is going to be on the XY plane. I'm going to turn it off because I hate seeing that little annoying bloody plane in here in the middle. I'm going to use between 0 and 100 with 2 decimal places, and I'm going to go for like 40 by 40 more or less. I'm going to copy and paste this here. For now, I'm going to work with a square floor plan just for now. And this is where it's going to get interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this a few times in the Z direction. So for this, I need a series component. So I'm going to use series. Series steps. We're going to say height between slabs is going to be 3.3 more or less. And then how many floors? We're going to say, I don't know, let's say 4 or 5. I'm going to change the names. I'm going to try and keep things clean. Number of floors. This is slab height. Let's just floor heights difference. I don't know. Let's just call it floor height for now. This is going to be count. Let's try this again. Direction is going to be Z. And we're going to move this. This is my motion. This is my square floor plan thingy. Okay. Let's align everything here. Okay, I want to align this over here too. Bring this over here, this over here. So we have the floor heights. Now, we need to generate a series of random partitions of these curves, right? So we're going to consider the square closed. That's actually an interesting point. Do we consider this closed? This is a good first question, and I don't bloody know. Yeah, I think we have to explode because we need to go in segments maybe. Okay, so what's the logic? The logic is I need to generate a series of random numbers. So let's kind of work that out first. Random, a range, which is going to be construct domain, right? And the domain is basically going to establish what my minimum spacing between sections are going to be, right? So I want my minimum to be like, yeah, you're right. I want to say my minimum is going to be like 3 meters. My maximum is going to be like 10, let's say. 10. How many random values do I want to generate? We need a lot. So this is the first part of the script that I was kind of trying to work out mentally. The thing is, I don't want this to be a repetition, right? I don't want it to be cut, randomly on one floor plan and then just copy and paste that, because that's just going to create this continuous copy and paste in vertical, even if horizontally it's different. So my logic is to use another series component, right? In which my step is going to basically be 1. This is going to be a random value, randomizer. Actually, it shouldn't even be a number slider. It should be a panel because that's a value I do not want to change. There, that's going to be fixed. And the amount of seed values should be the same as the number of floors. That's the idea. So Funtime is suggesting creating a series of points along X or Y axis and randomly distance one prior to the other and use between. Yeah, the thing is we want to go around. So the question is how to generate random per floor. So my idea is that here in the siege, right, in the random value, there's an option that says siege. What I was thinking is that if I create multiple randoms, like multiple seed values, then it's going to create more than one group of random values, and they're going to be different because the seed value is also different. So what I mean by this is if I put this over here, this is going to be my seed, and the number of random values is, it has to be high, right? Because I need to grab values from that list. So let me just change the name of this. This is going to be minimum distance of arc, and the other one's going to be maximum as the title. Max distance of arc. I'm going to put this over here in the back. Yeah, so the randomness of the number, I'm going to say between 0 and 100, and I'm going to go for 100 always, just as a random value. I'm not quite sure how to random like make sure it's always going to have enough values in the list. Hopefully you guys will see this in a sec and understand it a little bit better, at least what I have mapped out in my head. So yeah, so the idea here is that with the series component, right, if I connect a panel, we can visualize what the series is actually doing. It's generating, oh, wrong one, here. It's generating different seed values, right? So it's going to say the first list is going to have a random value of 0, random factor of 1 in the next one, then the next one's going to have 2, 3, 4, right? So I should have 5 groups of random numbers here. I mean, that's the idea. So here I have, this would be group 1. I have 100 values, and then it's going to jump on the next one. Here it's 4.74, and you're going to see they are in fact different. So to kind of test this out and see it a little bit better, I'm going to put 5 values instead of 100. So we're going to see that the first value in each list are going to be different, which is what I was kind of looking for. 8.08, 4.74. Yes, and we have in total 5 groups of random values. Okay, yes, this works. And the idea here is to do what's called a mass addition. A mass addition, right? Yeah, mass addition. Like I have a schematic. There's a schematic I'm working with, but it's not polished. It's from another script, and I'm kind of seeing it to contrast it a little bit, to see if I can work it out kind of live. So in this other script, I used a mass addition. Shouldn't all those numbers add the length? Yes. So the idea is this: mass addition. Yes, you're right. That's exactly what we're going for. So here, mass addition, if I connect a panel, as it goes along, it's adding and adding. So the idea is to cull out the pattern, right? So if I use larger than, I want my first number, which is the length of the rectangle. So if I type in length of the rectangle here, oh, wrong one. Length of rectangle, which is this one here. This, I want this to be smaller than this, and then I'm going to cull out everything that doesn't, match that criteria, let's say. So this value and then larger than. And then here, if I'm right, we have something like this. 36. So panel. Oh, wrong one. Colin, Avid. Panel where my length. So my rectangle measures 160. No, that's wrong. Because it's the sum. Evaluate length. Okay, I can test this out. Evaluate length. The idea is to extract the parameter to then shatter it, essentially. So my length is going to be the curl pattern. The curve is going to be my rectangles, and then normalize. No, the thing is, I need to explode this. I think. Explode. Explode. Is that right? Grafting. Do I need to graft? Oh, okay, I'm using the wrong one. Graft. Oh. And I should save before I do anything else. Scudodia. Stream file. So explode. Okay, so the length is this. I'm lengthening. I don't understand what's happening. Math addition. Okay, give me one sec. I need to sort this out because I'm getting lost. This is my mass addition. These are my lengths. Okay, that's fine. My length of the segments larger than the mass addition, which belongs to, yeah, that's right. Larger than, it's culling properly. Oh, I just deactivated my cam. Oops. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, man, how are we doing this? So I'm just trying to think. I had an idea, but so the idea is the result. Mass addition. Okay, so the mass addition is this. It's 40. That's wrong though. No, this is this one. Okay, so let me just connect a panel here, see if this makes sense. Okay, so yes, it's in relation to this. Curl pattern length. I think I need to indicate here. Normalized. Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay. The question is, I can't remember if this is meant to go like this. Thing is, I think it's dividing my segments because of the evaluate curve. Okay, let me see if I can quickly resolve it, and then I'll try and explain what the logic is, because there is a part I don't think I'm fully grasping right now. Extract number larger than this. It seems to be working, but I'm not sure why it's working. Okay, so let's see if we can break this down. So here in the random list, I'm generating 5 groups, right? Because that's how many curves I have. 5 groups in which I have 5 values. Oh, because I need more values. Is that something? let's use, you think the lengths, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. The lengths are being progressively added here. But that's for the division. So the logic is, right, I have a series of mass additions where I'm going past my length, right? So let's say if my square measures, I don't know, 60 meters, I want to remove all of the cuts after 60. So from 8 onwards, I don't want it to exist, because I would be telling Grasshopper to cut at 8, 16, 25, 32, 36, 43, 52, and 58. So it's cutting at those lengths, let's say. And then I would be removing here. The idea is to remove on this side. To remove on this side those that exceed certain values. So here 40. And that's going to depend on this length here, right? So the idea is to cull out the random pattern when it reaches 40. Does that... Right, so here in 40, I don't want it to surpass 40. Right? So before it gets to 40, I need those results. So it's going to... my last value before reaching 40 is 36. So here it's going to be 36. Over here it's going to be 36 also. Here it's going to be 37, so on and so forth. And then I can use these values to cut my curve, right? And then here I'm just going to use a shatter to cut these parameters. So what essentially evaluate length is doing is considering it's essentially considering, it's converting it to a parameter so that I can slice this curve in these points, right? Because shatter doesn't work with points, but it works with parameters. So the curve is going to be my exploded values here, and then now in theory, well, this is I'm kind of a bit all over the place, but I think it's working. If I do this, I should be able to select the different lengths individually. Like so, right? So that's the idea, and you can see they're all different from each other. The only issue is here. This is pretty big. Why is it so big? 10. Oh, something is not working. Could it be this? Do I have to correct? Yeah, why is it not doing it all the way around? Is it because I don't have enough values? I think yes. Yeah, so I'm not meant to explode. I don't know why it exploded, to be honest. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering why the length wasn't bigger than 40. Because if the square is 40, the length is essentially 4 times that, which is 160. Yeah, so anyway. Now we have the length, and you can see that I need to be careful with this, with my number of random values, because I need to make sure that my list, the addition surpasses the length of the rectangle. So I need to think of a way that I can make sure that it's always right, and that's a bit tricky. I don't know. Length. Yeah, I think I can solve that afterwards. I'm not going to worry myself too much with that. Yeah, does this make sense? I'm not sure if I've explained myself very well. Okay, so we have those shattered curves. So this is going to be like part A, which I think will probably be the hardest part. So these are my shattered curves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by length, because if I look at my reference, you can see these vertical bars are all separated the same, So if I just use divide curve, it's going to have a variation in divisions, right? If I use divide curve, so just to show you guys what I mean, if I connect divide curve, you're going to see that some distances are bigger than others. Like for example, these ones are much closer than these ones. So I need to make sure that the distances are the same. So what I'm thinking is I can use a divide length, and I can say, okay, I want a separation every 0.1. Actually, let's work with bigger values for now. I'm going to say a maximum of 1. If I go, for example, 0.5, we should have some separations which make sense. But you're always going to have this issue where there's going to be like an extra part because you're cutting it every 5. So, for example, if I have a piece of metal that measures 21, if I divide it in segments of 5, there's going to be that 1 that's hanging off, right? Does that make sense? So let me see if I can explain this. Let me see. So let's say, sorry guys, I just want to make sure this is kind of a little bit clearer. So imagine I have something that measures 21, right? From here to here, this is okay. That's that's hilarious. One sec. Let me make this perfect. Okay. If I go from here to here, this is 21. But if I divide in segments of 5, right? Like this and like this. When you use divide length, it's creating this extra value of 1 because you can't divide it by 5 even. It doesn't divide evenly when you use divide length, because divide length is actually dividing in pieces of 5, and then whatever is left over, it's just existing, right? So when you do it with divide length here, you're going to see that there's these little patches which are just a bit weird. So what I usually do is I just do a list length, right? This will give me an proximity value of how many divisions I need, and then using this value I use divide curve. So it's basically rounding it up nicely, right? So you get something like this. I'm going to turn this off. Ooh, something happened here. I'm going to simplify length grafting. Ooh, okay. Why is that happening? Graft. There we go. You can see more or less they're separated evenly. Yeah, or you could round it up. The thing is that the divide curve isn't a numerical value, so you can't round up a point. It doesn't compute that way. So I just count how many points I generated, and then I use that here in the count, and that seems to be, you know, good enough. And then here, this is where we start using graph mappings because we're looking for a curve. Here I'm going to use a sine. I would need it to be upside down though, so I would need it to be like this. And then what I'm going to do is range. My range is going to share the same number of steps as here, with the exception of having x minus 1, because it produces one extra value. X minus 1. Here. And then these values I'm just going to remap, because these values currently go between 0 and 1. So I'm going to use remap, bounds, bang, bang. The target is going to be construct domain between two values. So I want my smallest height of this arc. I want this bottom value here to be the minimum allowed, so 1.2, which is just like a railing. Let's change it to 1.2. That's going to be my minimum. And then my maximum is going to be the height between slabs. So if I go to the beginning, I know I have that somewhere. Here, floor height, okay, it's this value here. And this is going to be my maximum value. Let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, more or less, so I can see it. Yes, I'm going to delete this. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so this is my construct domain. And then here. Okay, so the idea here, right, is I'm dividing this graph into how many ever parts I have. So by this length. It's giving me all these values because the graph goes between 0 and 1 in both directions. In y direction, this is essentially the y axis. So here it's cutting 1, 0.9, 0.7, 6 something, so on and so forth. But I don't want the values to be varied between 0 and 1. Instead, I want them to vary between 1.2, which is my minimum height of this arc, and the height between slabs, which is kind of my maximum, which is 3.3. And then we'll notice that by remapping these values, I'm telling Grasshopper, look, I want my biggest value to be 3.3, which is the difference in height of the slabs. And then I want my smallest value to be 1.2. So that's the logic. And then by doing this, I could move in Z the points we created before, which are these. Oh, wrong way. It's going to be easier connecting on top. Hopefully it's done it correctly. And there we go. We can see it's working. We have that bad boy. And yeah, the only issue is that I like how it's pointy. And with the sign, we're not achieving the pointiness. So I don't know if there's another. We can use arc. Oh, shoot. Arc. Oh, my God. It's so sensitive. Arc. That's an option. The arc isn't reaching the top point. It's not considering the top point. Is that because here I don't need this -1? Ah, we do not need it. Okay. Interpolate, that's because when you divide something by 6, you're generating 7 parts. So I think it matches up with the logic of the graph mapper. Okay, so here I'm going to use interpolate. Interpolate, bang. I can turn all of this off. And we have that. It's not an arc though. That's really bloody bugging me off. It's not an arc. Conic? Oh, that could be interesting. You know what? Actually, no. Here we go. Parabola. You're right, my friend. You're right. You're absolutely right, mate. There we go. Lifesaver. Cool. So we have that interpolate. And then what I'm thinking is connecting the lines from here. And then the bottom line, which is the original one, which is this one here. I'm just going to use a relay. I think it's going to be easier. Bang. And we can generate that bad boy there. See what I mean? Yeah, boy. We got it. We bloody got it, mate. There we go. Okay. You know what? Things are working in our favor. I'm just thinking that perhaps the distance should be a little bit bigger between arcs. We can call this wave tower. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like later on, we're going to add more floors, and it should look a little bit better. But for now, I'm going to use less, and then perhaps the floor height should be a little bit. Actually, no. Let's keep it real. Just perhaps the floor plan should change. Yeah, something like that. Oh, Arctic view is not cool. Okay, there. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back on because that's going to be a good reference. And what's next? What's next here, guys? What should we do? I mean, the hard part is kind of already done. I guess what we can do now is just generate the floor plan, like the design in the interior. I'm just thinking, what should we do, bro? I'm thinking of like copying the script, but instead of doing it for this rectangle, to do it for an offsetted one here in the middle, or probably offsetted outside. So if I offset curve, right, and I say, let's say 10 meters, this is this, and then we can do all of this crap again. Sorry, not crap. All of this elegantness. I can just copy all of this in theory. Jeez, it's a bit crazy though. In theory, if I copy all of this, copy paste, I should, in theory, curve. My curve is going to be my new curve. Length. Okay, so my length is going to be this. My curve is now going to be this. Oh, shoot, what's happening? I'm still connecting. Oh, this one goes here. Okay, there we go. And this one, yeah, I'm just thinking they share the same seed, but it doesn't matter because one is much longer than the other. Or you could try logic on another floor type that ain't a rectangle. I mean, in theory, you could do it with anything because the logic is still the same, I think. Like, the logic should be the same, hopefully. I don't want to speak too soon. Yeah, you see? We can do it with any shape. I'm going to use a rectangle for now because I think it suits our design a little bit more. And the idea here is to... I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. Let me see if I can share, if I can relay this because I'm seeing a lot of cable everywhere and it's going to be a bit annoying. This one is still connected here. What's connected here? The domain end. Okay, yes, but that's fine because we need it to be the same domain. So this part here makes sense. This part here, bro, cable is everywhere. This is fine. Length, I can share this component here because we need it to be the same length. I'm going to move this a little bit. Other values is domain start between 1. Yeah, this needs to be the same too. I'm just sharing the same component so I can kind of recycle. Parabola floor plans. What do you mean? What does that mean? Okay. Length. Okay, this is good. Sharing here. And I don't think I'm missing anything out. This works. This works. This works. This works. Now, slab time, right? So my offset with my original curve. Good thing is I can relay and I can do a solid difference between this bad boy and this bad boy. So we have the slabs. So these are my slabs. Wow, this is bloody huge. 5, I'm going to reduce it a little bit. My interior rectangle is going to be a little bit smaller, 5 by 5. And my offset's going to be 10, I think. Actually, no, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. 10 by 10. Is that too ridiculous? 15 perhaps? 15 by 15, 22. I don't know. Yeah, 22 seems okay. The thing is, I want to do an offset inwards. I'm just thinking how on earth to do it. So hopefully this will make more sense in a second. Okay, I think this is going to work. Sorry if I'm not making much sense now. So essentially I want like a balcony. I want a balcony and then I want like the windows offsetted in, right? If that makes sense. So for this I would need this, and then this would be much bigger. Okay, I think I understand what the logic is going to be here. Addition. This. Okay, that way I make sure. I'm an idiot. I can just do this. Okay, so the logic is I want. Oh shoot, that's big. There we go. 5. This can be 10. 7.5. So I want. Okay, so this is going to be like the total of the slab, but then inside here I want this to be like windows. So the idea here is to do the following: to extract the curves here, which I can't. Why can't I? Deconstruct brep. Bam. Curves. Turn this off. I'm going to turn this off for now too. So I want this first slab to be like a height, like windows, and then the other one to be just like a balcony, right? So here, these curves, I'm going to extrude Z. By how much do I want to extrude? That's a good question. So it depends on my slab thickness. So if my slab is 0.3 and the height difference is 3.3, I would need to do 3.3 take away 0.3, right? So if I use a subtraction, I'm going to look for 3.3, which is my floor height, and I'm just going to reduce 0.3, which is my slab thickness. I'm going to call this slab thickness, like so. I'm going to put this down here somewhere. Oh god, where the fudge am I? Here. Yeah, this is cable spaghetti land. Here, and then you're going to see it reaches the value I need. There's a small gap, but as I said, that's going to be for the slab. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Let me just save. I essentially want to panel this. So I can just panel quad panels. I know one of these two has to be a value of 1. I'm just not sure which one it is. Okay, I guessed it. Pure luck. Here. And then these are my windows. Voila. These are going to be my windows, and these are my windows. And I need a frame, right? So interesante. Nice. Windows frame. I could use a panel frame. I'm just going to use an offset curve, inwards, negative, value of 0.1. Is that too much? I don't know. Thing is, I don't know what direction it's going to offset in. Are they all offsetting inwards? Oh, they are. Well, that's nice. I was going to indicate the plane anyway, just to make sure. That way I know it should go in the same direction. And then here, what I'm going to do is solid difference between the big one and the offsetted one, and that's going to be my window frame. So custom preview, my swatch, this is going to be black. Oh no, it did not do it correctly. Did I do it the wrong way around? I did do it. I did it the wrong bloody way around. Okay, so it's the big one, mine is a small one. And no, why? Why me? Simplify. Oh, that's very strange. Offset. No. Offset is smaller because I'm going in the opposite direction. Oh crap, did I just... Oh, that's weird. That's because it's failing somewhere. Here it works. Oh wow, what the hell's happening here? Something strange is happening. I need to graft and simplify perhaps? Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Maybe? Yeah, there we go. So we have the frames. We have the frames. And I'm just going to use another custom preview for the windows itself, which are these ones, which I need to convert into a surface. And then I can give this like a blue color, so it's you know, a window. Blue because it reflects the sky. And turn this off. Why is it? There we go. So we have our windows. To the window. Sorry. Very, actually no, mildly inappropriate. And the slabs, which are going to be this original one here. And we're going to extrude that in the negative direction by the thickness we established before. So negative, and the value was 0.3, which we already have here, right? Slab thickness, bang, and I'm actually going to bring it down here. Bring this down here, bang, and that's my slab. Right, this is my slab. I'm going to put it over here. And you can now see we have that thickness. Like so. Okay. Oh, tricky. And we need to give all of these a thickness. I'm simply just going to use pipes. Yeah. So I'm going to merge. Do we want them to have the same thickness? I guess we could. Bang, bang. I shut him down. Bang, bang. Anyway, panel. I want it to be a closed series of cylinders. I want the radius to be, I don't know, between 0 and 1. I'm going to say 0.03. So like this. Like this. It should take a second. 0.3 is quite small, and I want the separations to be a bit smaller actually. So what does that even mean? 0.5, what's this? Divide length. Oh, the separation currently is 0.5. That's huge. It should be 0.1 because that's the legal separation you can have, but for the sake of calculation I'm going to leave it on 0.2. Where's our multi-pipe guy? Yeah, I know your feeling. And we have this. I mean, it's not crazy looking, but conceptually it's interesting. I'm just thinking perhaps we should change the color of the pipe. Perhaps that can be, we need a little bit something a little bit more contrasting. Here, white. And then perhaps the distance between the arcs need to be larger. Maximum distance, I'm going to say 20 to current value, I'm going to say 12. And I think my minimum value should be a little bit bigger. Let it load, it's loading. Okay. A twist. Ooh. That's interesting. That is interessante, my friend. That is interessante. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So what you're saying is to use a series which shares the same number, but instead it's going to be degrees. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to say my jump is going to be 10 degrees. That might be a bit too big, but we're here for it. Rotate. This needs to be in degrees. My plane is going to be automatically on 1, 1. So I need it to be in the area of each one of these rectangles. And okay, so let me quickly adjust this bad boy. Bang, bang. Let it load. Ooh. Oh, you mean twist it around an axis? I completely misunderstood you. You know what? I'm going to turn off the pipe for now, because otherwise this is going to be a bit crazy to calculate. I'm just going to leave it as lines for now. But I like the way you're thinking. Like, this is cool. Like, you could increase the number of floors. Yeah, the only thing is it gets a bit heavy computational wise. Interessante. I like this. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean. You don't want this jagged effect. So let me just save this version. I'm going to copy and paste. Bring this down here. I'm going to re-establish this here. Delete this. What you are saying is to apply the twist at the end. Am I correct in saying that? Or would it make sense to do that at the beginning? Okay, so let's test this out. I don't know if it's the same to do it in the beginning as it is to do at the end. I think it's computational wise, it makes sense more to do at the beginning. Okay, so I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Twist. My axis is Z. Axis. Angle. Oh, the axis has to be a curve. Okay, so it's SDL. SDL. Starting point is going to be at the center of the first rectangle. The direction is going to be Z. The length is going to be multiplication between these two. X times Y. I should have just used a multiplication, but you know, does not matter. This is going to be my value. So that's going to be my twist. And I think I just need to do y minus 1. There we go. Twist. My geometry is going to be all of this. In theory, it should work the same as if I do it at the end. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but we're here for it. Let's work it out. Oh shit, I activated the pipe. Ah, you bastard. Okay, anyway. Ooh. Okay, so it doesn't actually twist it. And it twists it in a very different form. Okay, so let's try and apply it at the end. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? There. Geometry. So this is going to be fine. This works. I'm going to bring this down here. The thing is, I'm going to have to do it individually for each one. That's what I'm not too particularly fond of. Twist. Doesn't matter though. We can calculate it. So let me just put this out of the way so I don't accidentally actually activate it. Geometry. I'm going to have to graft, aren't I? Graft, copy, paste. Here. Copy, paste. Here. And in theory, it should work. It's turned off. Lol. And I'm missing something, aren't I? Here, the slabs. Bang, bang. That I'm missing the windows. What's there? And I'm just going to put this here at the end. It's messy, but I'm trying to see if it works. Yeah, the issue is that you're going to have these sort of weird, funky bends. Let me see if I can quickly turn this on. Yeah, you get this sort of thing. Like, I get it. Like, I like the paneling effect. That's cool. I'm just not too convinced about how harsh it is. And that's most likely because of the angle. So I should have probably disable that for now. The angle should be in degrees. I should have done this before. Degrees. Degrees. And then I'm going to say the twist should be 90 perhaps in total. .90 degrees. Oh, I'm missing something. What am I missing? This is turned off. There we go. Yeah. What do you guys think of this version? Like, if the angle was a bit more closed, transition wise, it would look a little bit better. Or we could go even more drastic. What happens if we go 180? Yeah, it goes crazy. What do you guys think? Yeah, a little bit. Or we can just go really soft and 30. Thing is, you would need a lot of height for it to be worth your while, I guess. So I would have to change this to like 20. No, a lot more, but for the calculation's sake, I'm going to leave it on 20. I'm going to pray this does not explode. I should probably saved. God damn it, man. Loading. Looks nice. Yeah, I'm thinking the more floors you have, evidently, the nicer it's going to look. Just let it load. Did I show you guys the tower I designed last week? Let's let it load. What would it look? What would the other one look like with this? This idea. Mm-mm-mm. 10, 5. Just out of interest. So here, how many floors did we do? 50, right? Let it load. Yeah, I'll explain it. No worries. How is it loading? There we go. The angle needs to be less, that's what I'm thinking. Oh my god, it's really bloody slow. Did I inadvertently activate the pipe? No. I don't know why it's so heavy. Maybe because of the paneling. Yeah, the paneling's heavy. And I also think the distances are smaller in this one. Okay. This would be the other version. I like the spiral. Yeah, what version do you guys like? Yeah, there's something about them that's always a bit tricky. Yeah, it's interesting though. Yeah, so oh my god, the spaghetti. What version do you guys prefer? The twist or the rotation? Those two options. Which one do you think is a bit nicer? Looks like G&A. That it does. Yeah, I like the continuity of the other one, to be honest, too. So, I don't know. They're both cool. They both have their something, right? Yeah, so how does the twist element work? Twist To explain it, I would... how can I do that? So if I grab... If I grab this, this, and this... I'll explain the twist component proper. Let me turn this off. Oh wait, we should probably bake, I guess. Let me bake before I turn it off because it takes a moment to calculate. So here, this is going to be element 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to need another layer. 5 and 6. 6. Okay, does that work? Oh, the curves need to be piped. Okay, I can do that in a sec. I don't know what's what. These are my windows. And I'm just going to quickly do this. Oh, I changed the... What's this then? Okay, so I changed the color of the wrong ones. There we go. Okay. So how does the twist work? I'm going to turn this off. I've copied it down here. I don't need this. Don't need this. So I have a series of squares, right? The twist asks you for the geometry you want to twist. So what geometries do I want to twist? I want to twist all of these rectangles. So those are my rectangles. What is the axis where I'm rotating around? So to make this a little bit more visually understandable. Oh, wrong one. Construct point. If I change this to... Okay, so the twist component is asking us for an axis from which you're rotating around or you're twisting around. So I'm basically going to build a curve, which is this one you see in green, and it's going to twist around this curve here, right? So wherever I place this curve, it's going to twist, and then it's asking me for the angle. I'm just going to say 90. So from the bottom to the top, it's going to bend. It's going to twist 90 degrees. So when I turn this off, you can see that my tower is bending around this curve here. So wherever I place this curve, that's where it's going to be bending around. So here, it's on the edge. And then if I take it further away, you can see it's going to bend around this curve here, right? So instead of bending like around this curve, what I'm making sure is that the axis is in the middle of the square. So I'm using a center point. So that way I'm twisting around the middle or the axis, which is this curve. Now you have to be careful because the length of the curve is important. So if I change the length, you're going to see that it's only going to twist whatever part I have selected. So let me just exaggerate this. So you can see here, if my curve measures this much, it's only going to twist up to there, right? So these are just things you have to be, extra cautious about, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. The offset, yes. I knew someone would bring that up. I mean, we could give it a try, but I don't know. I feel like it stops being an architectural possibility, I guess. But yeah, you're right. It is cool. If you want, we can give it a shot. Let's go for, I don't know what distance. If my rectangle measures 15, I'm going to displace it by, let's say, 50 to get a somewhat interesting result. This is my start, and then if I turn all of this on, we shall see what is generated. Let me just remove this pipe. Yep. Turn this on. I'm going to save. Right click enable. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the warp is going to be interesting in this one. We'll see. We'll see what results is generated. Oh, that was quicker than I thought. The unbalance is killing me. It feels so out of balance. It's interesting though. If I exaggerate it, right? If I make it 100. Yeah, it's like lean back, lean back, lean back. And then if you mirror it, oh god, is it also in Italy? Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's interesting. I personally need the balance in my life. Okay, let's see if I'm going to bake the other version. Let it load, let it load. It's a genie escaping a bottle. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you could go even crazier. You can scale it according to a graph. You can do, I don't know. You guys can do all of that. I'm too old for this. Okay, so this is... What the hell? Wait a minute. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Oh, my interior. I completely forgot about the interior one. That's hilarious. Okay. Let's bake. This is going to be número uno. Número dos. I'm going to speak a bit of Spanish. Número tres. Este de aquí va a ser la cuarta. La 4, este va a ser la 5 y esta última va a ser la 6. Cerramos y aquí podemos ver nuestra torre. Déjame ubicar cuál es la ventana porque ahora mismo no me acuerdo. There you go. I was just working out which one's the window. You know what? I'm liking this version more and more as I see it. I don't know. There's something about it. Then I would need to give this a pipe thickness. So I don't know if it's too risky. I don't know. I'm gonna test the water. The water, as my fellow Americans would say. Tubería 0.01. Yes, I think that's going to be a good size. Okay. Pray to God it does not explode. Come on, you can do it, baby. Ay caramba. That's quite a Mexican thing, I think. Not Spanish. Here in Spain we say hostia. Hostias, tío. And instead of saying mate, like you would in England, like hey friend, you would say tío, which translates to uncle. It's like saying hey uncle, but it means mate. Yeah, this pipe thing might have been not the greatest idea to do now. In the meantime, I want to show you guys something I was working on the other day. I would like to hear your opinion. Ay cabrón. Cabrón is a swear word though. That's the script. This was by our friend in chat called Education Lab. Our friend Walter. He suggested a couple of weeks ago to kind of work on a wave. And it stuck, and this is what came up. Like, how could you generate like a wave sort of building? So thanks, Walt. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's good. And then also, what else have I done? This one. This bad boy. If you look at the section, it's like a triangle, 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 and then it rotates as it goes down. I thought that was interesting. And it's, yeah. Oh, I have a little video and all. And I did like really specific details. Like at the beginning of the videos, you can see the railing. Like I did a script where the glass frames are separated by a definition, like a distance. Then you have this top railing, you have a bottom railing, you have one slab, and then you have a second slab which has a different radius. So I don't know if that's visible here. I'll probably open up the model. Here, you can see that I have two slab fillets. So it's like a double facade. And that's kind of the beauty of this little script. Yeah, a lot to think about there. Let me just get rid of the curves. Wow, this is heavy. To render this is going to be a bloody nightmare. There we go. Yeah, the render of this should be interesting. It's cool. It's nice. It's very good. That's this one. Oh. And this is the other one. Yeah, I don't know. They both have their beauty, I guess. One seems like more... Yeah, the only thing is this one, it rotates a lot. I think I should probably do a rotation which is a little bit more similar to this version. But yeah, they're both equally as interesting, so it's cool, man. I dig it. I dig it. Wave on Patreon. This one, you mean? Do you mean to do this one on Patreon, the wave? Which one are you talking about, mate? Let me know. Elliptical rotation. Bloody hell, now we're talking, my guy. I don't know. You could do any form. Let me just move this down here. Like, it doesn't have to be a square. That's for sure. So instead of having a rectangle, you can have an ellipse with the same radius, I guess. Oh no, you need two different ones. Actually, I can get rid of this. That should be interesting. Let's let it load though. It might take a second. Oh, you mean this one? Oh, that's my dog going crazy. You mean this one? This one was really bloody hard to make, so I might restrain a little bit from Patreon just because it was a bit tricky to come up with. Like, conceptually it was quite bloody hard to kind of create mentally. So usually the dynamic is I would probably spend the whole day kind of reflecting or kind of indirectly thinking of how to come up with a solution to a geometric problem. Like, I won't be investing a lot of thought power. Like, I'm not sitting down at a table and then super concentrating, but rather I just have it in the back of my head and it's kind of, I'm just working it out very gradually throughout the day. And this one took bloody ages to kind of reimagine. Like, how do you interpret a wave? It's really hard to come up with, right? So I was looking for this sort of pattern, you know, when a wave breaks. Yeah, it's really hard to come up with concepts sometimes, but that's part of the fun. Ooh, look at the ellipse. Did I use the sine wave? Yeah, of course. I used two. Okay, you know what? I'm going to twist this a little bit more. I think it should help out the design a little bit more. Here I have different twist angles, right? There's something happening here that's wrong. Either way, I'm going to turn that off. Here, 90. Let's go for 180. Enter. Yeah, this one. If I show you the script, I have this. Because one of the sine waves, so I don't know if it's possible to see here. So this is the back part of the script. Like, this is the front, this is the back. And if you look at this from an aerial view, you have this sine wave from the top, and then vertically you have this one. So you're combining two sine waves. Like, to figure this out in 3D. I don't know if you guys are aware of how bloody hard it is to kind of imagine how to break down a geometry like this. But if you think about combining these two sine waves, one in a top view and one in the side view, you end up with this sort of thing, which is really bloody cool. Yeah. Oh, look at this. The ellipse is really smooth. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, this is really cool, guys. I mean, we could be like this forever. So what I'm going to do, because you guys have been awesome, I'm going to share with you this script, and then you guys can play around with it if you want. So bear with me, and I'll just upload it. Stream. This is my stream file. I'm just going to drag and drop into a WeTransfer. See. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. And I'm going to put this in chat. And then you guys can go ahead and download. Yeah, guys. Anyway, this has been really interesting. Because you guys have been with me live, I don't mind sharing it with you guys. It's the least I can do. Just have fun with it, play around with it, and hopefully, I don't know, you can clean it up because it's a bit chaotic. And yeah, alright guys, I guess I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. It's always great, so I really do appreciate it. Download the link now, because I think when I stop streaming it's gonna close. And yeah, thank you guys. It's been nice having you here. So yeah, if you have any questions throughout the week, just let me know, and we can talk a little bit. Alright guys, have a wicked weekend. I know Friday is still lingering, but you know, almost there. Welcome back. Yeah, next week I'm going to be in Portugal, so no stream next week, but I will make it up for my Patreons. I'll probably upload one extra script. So yeah, cool guys, signing out. Yeah boy. Fibonacci, always there, top G. Alright mate, have a great time. See you guys next week. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, sorry, I keep forgetting. Alright guys, bye, and thank you again. You guys are awesome.